Oh, two are here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, that means who else?
I don't know, Nita, I think, just appeared.
Hey, Nita, is that you? I'm waiting for Doug to get his phone set up so I can use it to watch. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So who else here? Let's see. Nita. Oh, there's 7 of you here. All. Thank you for coming. So last week we had some technical difficulties, something about our network and it wouldn't broadcast. So I have some new stuff for you this week, and I have a repeat of what I didn't get to show you last week. So I'm very excited that you're here. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey, Pat. Hey, Mary Lou. I sent you an email today, Mary Lou. And Pat, I responded to a Facebook post today. So thank you again for being here. Has it been a marvelous Monday? It's been a marvelous Monday for us. And if it hasn't been, I hope that this will help make it a better Monday. We got out and went to Walmart in the drizzle. That was fun. And I forgot to take a mask. I didn't even take my purse, so I didn't even take a mask. So they gave me one for free at the door. I had no idea they would do that. But anyway, I was like, oh, thanks. So, that was my get out and go, a big trip to Walmart. So that's how marvelous my day was. So today what we're going to do, let me tell you about what we've got on the agenda today. I'm going to talk again about how I made this little table runner. It is so fast and so easy. It's one of those Saturday afternoon projects that you really and truly can get done in a real quick time. So I'm going to give you kind of a step-by-step instructions on how I did that and how that works. We are going to talk about how to make blades using the accessory set. You know, the accessory set has the raindrop shape, and I'm going to talk about how to make the raindrop shape. And I will tell you that I've told you there are over 50 ways to make different blades and different configurations. So today I'm going to talk about this one, and I have found 6 different ways to do that. And then I'm going to give you some ideas and maybe some inspiration about how your blades can be scrappy or you can mix fabrics. So I've got some blades cut for that to show you. And we'll talk about the giveaway and from last week, and then we'll talk about the giveaway for this week. So hang with me as we go through this. So we will get started, and let me tell you that for this little cardinal table runner, now you can use any fabric you want, but I've kitted it up, and it comes with 3 fabrics and an instructions sheet. So here's the instruction sheet. Here's the background fabric. Y'all, can you see this is green? It's the cutest little, look at stars. Is that not the cutest little fabric? I loved it. And I don't think that it looks particularly Christmas, although it was part of the Christmas line. It's a motif fabric, and it is holiday wishes. So I thought it was super cute. Holiday wishes from my family to yours. So I think I could use that green and white year round, because I do love that kind of a spring green. I love that. So in addition, in your kit comes the background fabric. The red is one of the grunges that's red. And don't y'all just love a good grunge that has all this texture printed on it? So that's a good one for the reds. And then we have the yardage that you will need of the cardinals. Now you will have more cardinal fabric than you need for this, but I didn't want to short you, so I made sure that you had plenty of cardinal fabric. So all of this will make this table runner. However, it does not make, I didn't include fabric for the back. So let me show you what I did for the back. I just used Can you see that? I just used a green out of my closet, which y'all know my closet is my stash, right? Okay, so let me show you a couple of tricks or tips or kind of what the instructions are in this kit. I will re-kit this here in a little bit. I'm going to put it aside for a minute. What I did, or what you will get, is enough. The table runner is 60 inches long. So in the kit, you will have enough fabric to cut 2 10-inch width of fabric pieces, right? And you will stitch those together fully at the end, one to the other. And then I took that long, 80, maybe 3 or 84 inches long, and I cut it at 60 inches. I just chopped off the end at 60 inches. And so then I had 60-inch length. But you notice I did this point. Can you see the point on the screen? The point. And I want to show you on anything that you're doing how easy a point is to make. So, do I have this up too far? Can you see if I do this right here, you'll be able to see?
That is the works.
Okay, good. Y'all, Doug's here, so thank you for being here. And thank you to Doug for helping. Okay, so I cut this 10 inches wide. This table runner. Is this table runner 10 inches wide? Suddenly I just went blank. Cut the green fabric. Oh, on my demo I cut the wrong size. What you're supposed to do is follow the instructions, which is what I should do. And I did the first time, but I didn't today. But what you're going to do is you're going to cut it 14 inches wide, and you have enough for 2 of those. So forgive me for that. But let me show you how to make a point. It doesn't matter how big or how wide it is. This is how you make that point. You measure to the middle, the exact middle of the end where you're going to make the point, and you put a dot. This is a friction pin. Now, this is the friction pin that has the, what is that nub? That it's not a fine point. I mean, it's not like a ball point. It's more of a marker, tip. So I put a dot there. And however, if that was 7 inches, like on this one, I would go down 7 inches. And put a mark here. And the same length on this side, I would put a mark here. Does that make sense? So I find the center of my width, and then whatever that length is, I go down the side and make a mark. So now I've got a mark, a mark, and a mark. And then I take my handy dandy y'all notice this, right? This is my pop-up to keep me from cutting my finger off. I've tried, but I never... Okay, so I'm cutting from dot to dot. Now I'm going to cut from dot to dot. Okay, so this is my, like leftover. But y'all, I could use this as half square triangles. So anyway, that's the waist. But now look, I'll put it right here because I have figured out that this is probably going to be helpful in, see what I did? It now makes a perfect point. I would do that at both ends. Find the middle, figure out what that, like if it's 14 inches, come in 7 inches, make a dot, then go down the side 7, and then cut to get your cute little point. So that is super fast and super easy. This is after I had them stitched together. So I would do that on both ends to make that. If you didn't want such a deep point, you could of course do, half of that, and it would be a less of an angle. Now, on the small, here are the instructions, the ones I didn't read. Okay, So in your kit, you also got enough fabric to make these blades. There are 12 blades in one of these Dresdens. This is a 30-degree Dresden plate, so that means there are 12 blades. But when you have 12 blades, you and you do 3 of them, right? So 12 times 3 is 36. You need 36 blades. So you will get enough fabric in your kit to cut these 5 inches width of fabric. It says it there. I'm just telling you so you will know. 5 inches width of fabric. What I do, which you certainly can do also, is I can stack my fabric, or I can do 2 or 4 at a time, layers at a time. You take your small Dresden. These were made with a small Dresden tool, and I stack them, so at one time I might have just cut 4. This first one I always turn and go the other direction. Always remember that I don't remember now what I forgot what I was going to say. Always remember something, but you have to remember what you're going to say first. Okay, so we need 36 of those. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Let me grab this. What I was going to tell you is, you see how I cut this off this, well, how did this go? Like this? See how I did this? If I get some of the selvage, edge in this corner, it's okay. Because all of that, when it's sewn together, is going to tuck under. And you're never going to see these corners. That's going to be waste. So if you get some selvage, no big deal. That's just a heads up and a reminder. You don't have to, you can work around it. So once you have all of your blades ready, cut, all 36, this is what I do in front of the television. You can ask Doug. At night, I will sit. I have a chair. He made me a board. It's about, 10 inches wide. And it crosses my whole lap. And I have a recliner, rocking chair thing. And so the board sits on my chair. And then I have a workspace. And I do this at night. So you see I drew the inside of this, the small tool. Now, if you're new, and if you are, welcome. And I see that we have 15. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. We're using the small tool, but remember the kit comes with this is 5 inches tall, this is 10 inches tall, so they're perfect for pre-cuts. But for this, we're using the 5-inch blade tool. So you see what I did? I cut out the center. The very next step is I have to snip to the corners. And there are 5 points here, so I snip in every one. Now, I don't want to get glue. Oh, that's what I forgot. I don't want to get, thank you. I didn't get glue. I don't want to get glue on my mat. Let me grab it. Thanks. I have good fancy glue, but can't find it. Okay, so I use for this, because I can't find my good glue, this Elmer's. Y'all, it'll wash out. Now, I open it up. It's disappearing. It's acid-free. Kindergartners eat it, so it has to be okay. I have a grandchild. I have one of my 6 grandchildren that would probably eat glue. Now, do you see what I'm doing? I'm rolling back from the corners and then finger pressing that down. Now, if you've not seen me do this before, watch what I do on this little tongue. I call that a little tongue. See that little tongue? I just hold that and roll it back. Now, glue always will melt when you put it under heat, right? And then once it cools, it loses its gumminess, so it will not gum up your needle. Now look, I have a perfect little window right there. The next step is I have to fussy cut something to go in the window. In this case, in the kit, I'll lay this fabric here, like this. How would that look? So that would be cute. And I take that same tool, I open my fabric up, I draw with, like, for example, let's do this one. I would draw around it and then cut that out to put in the windows. So Doug, can you show them what's in the windows? I don't want to cut somebody's kit up, so I'm not going to actually do the cutting here. So Doug's going to show y'all up close what is in the windows. Can you see these cute little birds? Now, the motif's repeated. So you see how, let me find this little bird. Watch for him. He's the most common. Here he is again. But here he is again. I don't think that it is often enough. I think this is him too. I don't think it's often enough that it's distracting. I mean, there are enough birds, but he was one I particularly liked, I guess, when I was cutting him out. And then I just spread them out. So can you see the green now? And then this cute little cardinals. Now this center and the point, I'll show you how to do that too. Let me, whoops, you all right? Okay. Once I have this filled, I go to the sewing machine and I literally stitch.
Don't need to go that far. Back up just a little bit right there.
Okay, so put it right here.
Yeah, that's
okay. Y'all, I stitch right along this edge. I mean, I don't know how far it is. I don't measure. I mean, I just eyeball it, just stitch along the edge all the way around, and that captures the window inside the fabric. To make a Dresden, you go to the sewing machine, you fold this together like this. I'll show you this, but I will show you this same thing. Look, I found these today. These are some hand-dyed batiks that I had put together. And they were just sitting over there, and I noticed them. So I'll show you what I'll finish the demo doing this. After I stitch this down, I fold the right sides together, stitch 1/4 inch along the top, and 1/4 inch along the bottom. When I do, I flip that out, flip it inside out, and it comes out to a point. It also happens in the center. When you stitch the center together down here at the bottom, it comes out in a point. It's real hard to show unless you go through all the steps. But anyway, I promise it works every time. It's like a miracle. It works every time. Okay, so I did that. Once I have all my blades, then I lay them out like I want them, and then I stitch them together side by side by side. That's how you get your dress. All those instructions are in the toolkit. And it is always for sale. And like I said, it comes with the large and the small. Okay, questions about that? Oh, thank you, Kathy. It is a good idea to use a pop-up on your ruler, because you know that one time, I'll show you what I was doing. I don't know. I really and truly don't know what I was doing. Somehow my finger, did that happen? Oh, like, I think it was like this. And I had my hand twisted and my finger slipped and I cut it across here. So that this reminds me to put my hand in the, you know, keep your hand in the middle of the ruler. Don't put your finger in the way of the blade. It was dangerous. And I was very, very lucky that I didn't get really, really hurt. Okay. Hey, Mike Pitts. Hey, Janice. Did you get your order? Thank you. I'm so glad you did. Okay. If you have questions about the runner, just chat or comment or whatever. The kits are $30 and I have 4, maybe 5 left out of all of them. So if you are interested, all you have to do to grab one is to say, I want a kit, cardinal kit. Be sure and put that. And then I will email you and then I'll send you, we'll communicate and we'll figure out all that stuff. Okay, so that's the table runner. I'm already thinking about Christmas. I guess we all are as quilters. Are y'all thinking about Christmas? This weekend I quilted 2, or in the last week maybe, Christmas quilts, and I have 5 things to bind in there. I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I love vintage linens. Love vintage linens. And one of my favorite things to do is to quilt vintage tablecloths. So I pretend like when I'm putting them on the long arm that they are just like any other quilt, right? I put I make a back for it. I put my batting down. I put the tablecloth down. And then we use them all the time. So I use them on tables. But if I'm sitting in the living room, my feet get cold, and there's one sitting over there, I have no problem whatsoever putting a tablecloth across my feet because it's a quilt now. So that's been on my mind. So as I do that, moving forward, I will be showing you just some of my random things that I do. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the number 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. I guess that should be 27. Different ways to make blades using. So if you're new, here's the kit. It comes with this little window insert. See that? So here's window number 1, and then when you put this in here, here's window number 2, right? So it's a window in a window. Okay, so the accessory set, which is right here, has these pieces. I have to lay something down, that have a heart and a hexie, and then that orange peel, or some people call it a football. My attorney calls it a football. And then a raindrop, or a water drop, or raindrop is what I call this. Well, tonight I'm going to show you how to use the raindrop. Can y'all see that? I don't know. You tell me. Can you see the drop? Look in here. So I'm going to show you how to make the raindrop. And Fussy cut something for the inside of that. And it's really a fun little, nifty little thing. Okay, let me put this with the kit. Let me get my blades out. Here they are. Okay. We are going to use this blue fabric just because I had it handy. Do y'all know how many blades I've cut? And I cut every week. And okay. So I've cut 6 blades because I'm going to show you 6 different configurations. When you use the big blade, after you've cut out your fabric, you lay it down. I hold it in place. You see it? Here it is. I'm telling you all, this clear plastic disappears on me. Oh, but I'm ordering some new tools I'm really excited about. And when they get here, I'll tell you about them. But the logo is going to be in color. Do you know how excited I am? Because they didn't have color last time. Now they have color. So I'm super excited about. Oh, Lorianne, so glad you're here. I'm so glad to hear that you've used this. Okay, so my accessory set, raindrop. I'm going to show you, see what I did. I made an extra dark line. Now I'm using the back because it's darker. I mean, it's lighter on the back. The front is darker. Okay. There's the shape. So now you don't have to use a little blade. You can use scissors. If I don't have a little rotary cutter handy, I use scissors. But if I have one handy, I've done this enough, I'm confident, right? Okay, so here's my waist. So you see what I did? I cut approximately 1/4 of an inch-ish inside the shape. Now, I always snip to the corners. Remember I said that earlier? Just like in garment making, which I never did well in. I did terrible. Well, I mean, I did okay, but I was young and I didn't understand color and how color was and fashion and how it was gonna look on me once I got it made. It was a disaster. It was a Kelly green wraparound skirt. Y'all may have heard me talk about that before. It was terrible. But I did learn to snip to the edges. Okay, see what I did? I snipped all the way around. Okay. Because I want to protect my mat, I always use glue. Y'all, it's almost like I have this little thing about glue. I use it by I mean, it's almost like lipstick, right? It just goes on real smooth. So I put kind of a lot so you could see me do it. Am I?
You're good.
Okay. All right, good. If I roll these back and just finger press them, because I have snipped to the line, it is going to lay perfectly. It's the most magic thing. Okay, you'll see what I did? I just laid it back. Now, I always hit wet glue with an iron to melt it. Once it melts, then it cools. Once it cools, it is no longer gummy. Okay, now I want y'all to look at that. That's cute, isn't it? Now, if I, like right here, I don't know if, can y'all see that? Like right here, there's a little kind of a point at the edge. That's because I should have probably snipped closer together for demo purposes, and because I was going fast, that's what happens. But I snipped this far apart, and I probably should have shortened that.
You could undo that and redo it.
Yeah, you want to?
Not necessarily. I'm just saying you can let them know.
So, what he's talking about, and he's 100% right, and he's seen me do it. Well, let me find that spot I was pointing at. Oh, right here. See, that looks like a little point right here. So, once you've hit it with the iron, look, you just peel that right back up. And if you want to snip some more, hit it with your glue. I can't tell you how many times I've redone one because I didn't get it just right. Because if I get in a hurry, you know, I can really kind of buzz through things a little too quickly. There. I think that's better. And so you can always pull up the glue. It's not permanent. It's semi-permanent. And you know the glue is not going to be the final thing. There, that's much better. Okay, now, look, y'all, I have this cute little panel. Actually, I think it's a double panel. It is. Look at this cute little panel. It's the ABCs. And you could do a really cute little 4 large Dresdens and do the ABC quilt. I'm getting my quilts back from a vendor I loaned them to, a business I loaned them to last week. And she's sending them back. I'll have it next week. I may show you what I'm talking about. But we're going to fussy cut what goes in that window out of this ABC panel. Okay, we're going to use this J just because it is right here in front of me, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position, I'm going to take this because that's the piece I'm filling in, right? That's the hole. And I could do anything I wanted, but I'm just going to use the J because it's right here on the side. Okay, and then I position it as I want it. I grab my friction pen or any marking pen that you want. I like ones that disappear. Okay, did you see what I did? I drew around it. Now I've got to give myself space on the outside to glue it here. This is all till I can get to the sewing machine. I mean, I just want this to hold tight till I get over there. Okay, there. All right, I'll take my little panel. Hey, y'all, by the way, I think that's... I gotta have a drink. I think this is gonna... Excuse me, I gotta get a drink. Tonight's prize is one of these panels. So actually it's with the fabric and it's got two ABCs on it. So there's an ABC on this half and an ABC on this half. So if it was a fat quarter, it's two fat quarters looking like this. So that's the prize. So if you are interested in winning an ABC panel tonight, I need you to write that in the comments. Something about ABCs. I love, just something so I'll know you're interested in winning. Okay, you see I've cut this and now I have this. I have to put these together so I can get to my sewing machine. Just like everything else. I use glue. Now, I'll leave that the way it is. I just finger press that. And there you go. That's one of the ways to use the raindrop. So now let me show you some more. I'm going to use the same exact one. Here's this. No, I'm not. Yeah, I will. So I can do it just an upper window, but I can also do it with a lower window. So just an upper. You can also do a lower. So for those of you who haven't seen this, I drew the lower window from my tool, this lower window. I drew it on the back. I snipped to the corners. Guess what I do? After I snip, I glue it back. And then I find something to put in the window. So for our purposes tonight, I'm not going to fill this window. But I will tell you, for those of us who have been doing this for a little while, we shop totally differently for fabric these days. Because we're always looking for, oh my goodness, wouldn't this fit in the window cutely? And what could I do with this in the window? Okay, so this is a lower window. There's the lower window, okay? Now I'm going to draw, so that's just the upper and the lower. Now I'm going to show you how you would draw. I'm not going to go through the whole cutout process, but I'm going to show you how you would draw the raindrop and a long lower window. So this is the lower window. But what happens if I draw across the top of the bridge? See the bridge? I take it out and oh look, we can connect the dots, right? We can connect these lines. And then I would cut out both of those. Now, I'm going to do this so that you can see It's only about an inch longer, but when you have them side by side, it looks significantly longer. You can really tell the difference. Okay, once again, this part's quick, so I just slap a little glue on there. Now, one of the things I could do in these windows, the lower windows, is I could use, let me hit this with an iron real quick. I could use the leftover fabric, you know, in my panel. Let me find where I did the J. There it is. Whoops, there it is. So, like, I could fill it, you know, with any of this fabric around it. So I would have plenty of fabric there to do the small or the long window. And then pretend like this one has one of these in the top. Did it go away? Yes, it went away because I ironed it. See, that's what it would look like on the back, and I would cut this out so there would be an elongated one. Okay, so that's the third one. So we have a raindrop only, a raindrop top and regular bottom, and then we have a raindrop top with an elongated bottom. And oh, I was looking to see at my list. I was like, what's next? Okay, here we go. So I can put this in here, and I can draw the raindrop, and I can draw the sides, and I can connect the sides right. And then look, from this top point to the top of this point, if I draw across, I've just made a full window. I'll show you how I would cut that out. I would ignore this. Okay, and I would go here and cut this out. Now what ends up happening is you have a curved top and a full window. Well, that's all great, grand, and wonderful, except you could have done, I'm doing it on purpose to show you. You could fold all this back. I should show you. But you can do that same exact shape without the elongated. You would just use the circle, right? You would just use the circle that comes in the original tool. So while you can do that, it you see how it makes the curve at the top. So you can do that. But you can do that with something else too, so you don't have to use this one for that. But I love that curved top. We have shown it before, but I forgot to snip to the corners twice. Oh my. There. Roll that back. Finger press it. Roll this back. Finger press it. Finger press this. And now I'm to the fold of this, and I have to snip some of this bulk away, so I fold it and then I snip. I've decided that folding it and then snipping it is always, to get rid of the bulk behind, is better. All right, now that goes there, this goes here, this goes here. Let's iron this down. I'll show you what I did. Now, the next one I'm going to do, okay, that may not be perfect. Well, it's not. That's a little messed up. Okay, that side's perfect. I was hurrying. This side did not get perfect. So what I would do, real life, this is what I would do. I would hit it with a glue again, fold it down, make sure it's perfect. Sometimes when you're hurrying, it's harder, right? And I know that probably is, I'm the only one that happens to. Okay, so now I could fill this with something. But here's a really tricky one. Well, I don't know if it's tricky or not. But do you see the registration lines on the tool itself? They're the little black lines. You see them? Mine are kind of worn, but they're black lines on there. And what I do when I line this up and I stick this, before I stick this in, I want to do an upside down raindrop. So I am marking the top, the bottom, and the middle point. And the middle point is already, there's a line on here. Now watch this funness. If I take this and lay it so my point of my raindrop fits right, look, at the top, let's see the point? If that point fits right there and this point's right there, then it's aligned perfectly. See that right here and right here? And then draw the raindrop. Well, that just opens a whole nother set of scenarios, right? I mean, it just changes everything when you're but you have to do a little. I mean, it's not hard. Just you have to plan it. But I like I like the raindrop going in the right direction. See, like that. Again, I would snip to the corner, snip around the edges. I hear the clock ticking in the background. Do y'all? Does anybody hear the clock ticking? Animals to, yes, Pam, that would be a great idea if you had animals to go in the lower windows. I'm telling y'all, you'd be amazed. So one time, the ABC panel that I did originally, like one of my first quilts with this tool, I had 2 matching panels, and so I took the ABC. How did I do that? Yeah, I had 2 panels because I needed to use this part of the A with the little picture, and that bled over into the B part. And so I used 2 panels to make sure I got the animals and the pictures. Okay, you see what I'm doing? I snipped to the top. I snipped all the way around the corners, all the way around the edges. I went a little bit closer together this time so I wouldn't have to undo and redo. I just roll back. See how easy this is? I roll back. I hit it with glue. So I don't know if it's Scott or Diana, but I'm assuming it's Diana. You need this panel. I hear you. The alphabet does have 26 different letters. You're right. So look, y'all, see the difference here? This one points up and this one points down. Now the same options are available to you. You can do just the upper. You can do an upper and a lower with this configuration. You can do an upper, the pointed up with a longer lower window. Or you could make a full window. What am I doing? You could make a full window with this point at the top. Are you interested in seeing that one? So real quickly, I'll draw it. That's all I'll do. Whoops. I will draw it for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So I just do the point, and then I use this line that's already on there as the, whoops, as my registration. For a full window, I have to draw my sides. I put my tool upside down. I align the point right there where I've made that point. It's pointing down, so I have it in the right position. I draw, this is a straight edge. I'll use a straight edge. I go from this edge all the way across. And then I draw my lines here. Oh, I love it when you can get so many different. Now, it looks a mess right now, doesn't it? But we'll cut this real quickly so you can see what I am talking about. And I'll just go across. Then I'll come up. I'll remove this. I think there's a spot on this mat that is, okay, look, y'all. So now what I would do is I would see how it's going to be pointed at the top and then a full window like this, except instead of having the rounded top, it's going to have a pointed top. So that's another way to do it. Those are the ones I've full raindrop with the pointed top with the rounded top. You can do the this same thing with a short window or a long window. So anyway, how many is that? One and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There might be 8 ways. So anyway, that you get the idea. So if you come up with some more that I haven't seen, help me figure that out, because I would love to be able to say, hey, there's more than 50. I mean, I already say that. There's more than 60 or whatever the number is. So anyway, that's how you use the raindrop tool. If you have questions on that, you can always email me. Let me give you my email. It's Annie@AnnieMcHugs.com, or message me on Facebook Messenger. That's fine too. Or you can always call me. I want to give you my number in case you have questions. My phone number is 903-596-8696. And if you don't leave a message, if I happen to not grab the phone for some reason, like if I'm outside or gone or whatever, and you don't leave me a message, then I will assume you are a pollster. And they don't leave messages. Have you noticed? But they sure have been calling with the ads. Okay, questions? Anything come up that we didn't work? That yes, it does look Gothic. It also looks like a cathedral. I love that pointed. It almost has a Moroccan sort of feel. So with some really cool fabrics, that would be a fun look. I love that idea. Okay. So now, I want to talk to you about blades. So I'm changing, as I tell Doug, honey, I'm turning left. That means I'm changing the subject. I'm going to go on to the next topic. So there are 12 blades. It doesn't matter if you make a small one or a large one, there are 12 blades. In this situation right here, in the runner, there are 12 red blades. You see that? Okay. Remember, you can go scrappy on this. And I don't have, like I said, my quilts are coming back from the far north. And they will arrive this week, so I'll have more quilts to show you next week. However, I want to show you how you can scrap up some blades. Okay. I have this green with dots on it. I have that exact same green with a tiny little check. Okay. I have that exact same green with a big dot. And I have the same exact green with a big check. Okay. So now, if you are trying to work with fabrics, then pretend you have the polka dots, the small dots, okay? You can do all 12 just alike with the windows in them, right? So it'll take 12. If you have the big dots and the little dots, and those are the two fabrics you have, you can alternate them. So you'd need 6 littles and you'd need 6 bigs, right? 6 dots, as I'm talking about dots, right? So you can alternate them. And you get that scrappy look, which is very fun. So 12 blades total. You would need 6 out of the big dot and 6 out of the little dot, right? Okay, so that's using 2 fabrics. You'd need 6 of each one. Now let's say you had 3 fabrics. Let's say, I'm going to move this a little bit. You have 3 fabrics. You can line them up. And what I do when I do scrappy like this, or, you know, change my blade backgrounds, I alternate them, right? So little dots, big dots, checks. So you would need 4, is that right? 4 of the little dots. Yes, that's right. If you have 3 kinds of fabric, because 3 times 4 is 12. Yes, you need 3 dots. I mean, 3 of the little dots, 3 of the big dots, and 3 of the little squares. Now with your 4th one, look how cute this would be. And what I would do, of course, that's so here. This is what I This is how I play. This is my form of play. I would do little dot check, big dot check, little dot check, and I'd go all the way around the circle that way, right? And alternate them. And if I did it this way, I would only need 3 of each one. If I have 4 fabrics, I need 3 of each one. If I have 3 fabrics, I need 4 of each one. It has to multiply out to 12. But don't be afraid to mix and match your blades. It can be really fun and really scrappy and really delightful. Another tip is you don't have to point your blades. If you want your blades flat, you can leave them flat. Absolutely. No problem whatsoever. I've done it. So that's cute too. But just think about, don't get trapped in thinking that you have to use the same blade over and over and over again. Now, I did a demo once, and I started this little, I want to iron it, but if I iron it, you won't be able to see the window. Let me just cut this little window. And I'm going to show you what fabric I had that I found to go in behind this. So one of the things I don't think that I mentioned is when I do an upper window, just a normal upper window, I always glue at the corners, because that's the area of most vulnerability, and I want that to hold really well until I get to the sewing machine. Okay, so I'll iron this down. And this little fabric, look at that. How cute is that? Look at all these little fabrics. So we fussy cut all these out. So there's dogs and I don't know what all there is. It's just animals. Oh, here's an owl and a fox. But it has that green in it. And I just thought that would be so fun. So if somebody is interested in this, it's already pre-cut. and these little pieces, let me know, and I'll work a deal with you, because I don't think I'm going to get around to making this. Okay, so there you go. I know, right? You can just do the most adorable things if you just play with your fabrics. And so we went ahead and pre-cut this, and then I've been so busy. And it all depends on who you're buying for, right? So this would be great for kids or grandkids, or, oh, look at this cute little bear. And so you see what we did? We drew the shape of the upper window and then just fussy cut around it and put it, look at that little raccoon. So, and look, here's a black bear. There's another owl. But this owl's on a blue background, so it kind of changes the feeling of it, you know, a little bit. Oh, look, y'all, here's a moose. So that would be a fun little quilt. And you could put it on a brown background, or, I mean, you get it. You know what to do with this. It's fun. So that's when you shop for fabrics this way, you will suddenly start collecting things that you've never collected in your life. Okay, what is next? I think that is it. Oh, I want to talk about winners from last week. I hope you've already gotten your stuff. I was seeing who all is Kathy here. Kathy and Amanda Jordan won last week, and I mailed that stuff off, so I hope they've gotten it. Like I said today, the prize, I have it packaged. I'm going to give you an uncut panel. It's not like you're going to get -1 letter. So I'm going to give you if you're interested in the ABC panel, just comment that you're interested in that. And then again, I'll show you. Whoops, I have it upside down. I think it's a fun little panel. It's got the ABCs and some cute little on background fabrics. And this is interesting. When I found this fabric, I was really fascinated. This is Basic Gray did this, and it is called Biscuits and Gravy. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. It says right here on the selvage, it says, mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. And that's a quote by Casey Musgraves. So she's the country western singer from the Northeast Texas Lindale area, which is like 8 miles from me. So what did I say? Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. I thought that was kind of East Texas-y. Okay. So, oh good. Kathy likes the ABCs too. All right, so if y'all have questions, or I'm looking around to make sure I've covered everything I had going. I guess that's it. Okay, if you're interested, put that in there. If you want a kit, put ABC kit. Cardinal kit. That's $30. Includes all the fabric and the instructions. And I've given you my number. Oh, and I forgot to say this at the beginning. Before I start, every single time, friends, I pray for everyone who watches. So know that you have been prayed over this day. And I hope you have a marvelous Monday, and I hope you have a fabulous week to come. And we will be back next week with more to share. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.